Okay, everybody, this is Texas Tiger Digs again, and I'm going to run a quick test. I've done the test before. In fact, it may have been the previous video or the video before where I did the test measuring 3 VLF, 1 pulse pinpointer. The X pointer is a pulse, but let's just say 4 pinpointers overall. And I was doing a depth test, and I will put a reference to it in a card above, basically to show you the results of that test. And I'm going to recreate them only to the degree that since I don't have all of the documentation or the measurements, and it helps to do it again, I am going to show the depth of the TRX. TRX was by far the #1 in depth, and I've done all the stuff to make this to bring it up to max here. So, and this is the, once again, show this again, turn it off here. This is the Whites TRX. Sorry, not great light here, but I believe you can see the TRX there. Okay. Okay, I switched it on, and I've already previously set this thing to the max. So you just take my word for it, because it's a long process to do, and I don't want to make it any more difficult than necessary to do this test. And let's just do it. I'm going to take this is just a plain old clad penny. Nothing special here. And I'm going to see how close I need to get. That's 6 inches, 5 inches, 4 inches. See, I got to click at 4 inches. I did that last time. Okay, 3.5 inches. Okay, guys, see, inconsistently between 3.5 and 4 inches, which is a little bit deeper than I did before. Now, 3 inches, it's dead on. But I can sometimes get a reaction at 4. But at 3.5 or 3.25, it's dead on. And that is maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch deeper than the other VLF pinpointers I've got. So this time I'm going to replace it, and this is, in my opinion, the king of depth. This is the Detector Pro, and it looks beat up because it is not the most durable of detectors. If you see back here, I think I showed in the previous video, I had to create this little tie down, so when I change the battery I have to clip this off, put the batteries in, and re-tie it down. It's just that it's made out of very commonplace plastic, almost like a toy, and its depth belies the fact that it is basically looks like a toy. And let me remove this and show you. Now, this was the one I used before. Fortunately, you didn't see the tip of it, so I'll move it a little bit further here, and now you'll be able to see the tip of the detector I placed down there. And it's going to be the Detector Pro this time. And like I said, I've had to do a couple of repairs on this already. I had to put some epoxy around here because this is the weak point. I mean, it breaks very easy right here at the body, going from the body to the narrow pinpoint end. And I had to get it together and put some epoxy there. Now, these are all the shortcomings of this, and where a lot of people don't want to mess with it. Another thing is the complexity. See, I can push the button here, and see, and I turn it on. Now you have to hold that button. Now you don't have to. I can reach inside, and this is the complexity here. And I can reach inside and turn it from high. I can go high, low, or LED only here, so I can make it silent. It also has a frequency, and it also has a threshold. So it's just orders of magnitude more difficult than our standard pinpointers. You have to think about it. So I'm going to switch it to permanent on here, just for this test. And I'm going to place it down here. And then we're going to test. Now, also being, and this is a tip right here, so I'm make sure you can see it. Also being a pulse pinpointer, there's an issue with motion. Pulse requires motion, except with the X point. I'm not sure how they got around that, but this one does not get around it. So I'm going to have to move it consistently, or it will normalize on this and you won't hear it at all. So this is 6 inches. You hear that, guys? 5 inches. I'm getting something. 4.5. 4. 5. I don't know if you can barely hear that or not, but you can definitely hear it at 4. So let me do something else. Now the other complexity to this pulse pinpointer is I can alter threshold. So I can get a hum going that should increase my distance marginally. See, I've got it. I turned it down where there was no hum. Now I'm going to turn it out where there's a background hum. Now when you got that, then like all device with a background hum, you're looking for a break in the frequency or an increase or decrease. Let's see if I can get closer. Let me further out here. Guys, you hear that? You have to be very sharp. But by doing that, see, now you can hear that background hum. Now if the quality changes, now see the background hum, that'll change as I move this. So that's 5 inches. That's 2 inches more than the best pinpointer I've got for depth, and that's the TRX, the VLF. Now the question is that you know, that's not what everybody wants a pinpointer for. In fact, some people say that's a shortcoming. For instance, if I go 4 inches on this thing, see how screwed and making noise. So let's just say it looks like between 4 and 5 inches I've got the depth. But it's just the annoyance factor. Because I can go back in here and I can turn that hum down just a touch. So maybe it's almost silent. Let's see if you can see the sound change at a level that is almost silent. I can barely hear a background hum. I'm not sure if the microphone on this camera is picking it up. Now you hear nothing, but now I think you can hear that frequency change when I move that dime around. So that's almost 2 inches of difference. And with that added caveat that the majority of people said pulse actually indicates deeper in the ground than it does on air tests, then you are looking at something where you might get 5 to 5.5 to 6 inches of depth, assuming that pulse difference stands up. So, all right, I just want to show you the heavyweight champ of detecting depth, the Detector Pro. Unfortunately, you see it's a heavyweight champ with a glass jaw and an ability to break bones on many occasions. So, but you know, it's just something you got to keep in mind. Now, the added thing is you can run into interference issues on each one of my detectors. On the Safari, no big deal. I can just do a ground balance with this and it'll work. And I can also change the frequency inside to make it a little different. But it's an order of magnitude more difficult. So unless depth is extraordinarily important to you, I understand why you wouldn't use this. I just wanted to show it to you so you'll know why it's the heavyweight of detecting depth. And I know the majority of people who use it says, man, it's not worth the annoyance. It is to me sometimes. I'll switch it back to push button. Now it'll work on push button. Now the reason it doesn't do a constant on and reaction like that is this thing, I believe it takes two transistor type 9-volt batteries in this thing to keep it running. So that's another thing. It is like all pulse machines, a power pig. Anyway, I just want to show you that, and I will be back with you outside hopefully in the near future. But this is Christmas Day, so I am inside, not only because it's the time to be inside, it's also unfortunately a work day for me to one degree or another. You guys have a wonderful day. I will talk to you later.